My God, I cannot believe what we have just seen. That isn't about the 3 points. That is a statement. That is a psychological statement. Arsenal Football Club have just done something that is going to shut up a lot of people. Everybody that's been talking about Arsenal, everybody that has been suggesting that Arsenal are capable of bottling it. Arsenal are weak. They are vulnerable. They have a weak underbelly. What Arsenal have just done there is going to shut everyone up. Arsenal have taken the game to the form team of the country. In fact, scrap that. Arsenal have taken the game to the form team of Europe. They have gone up against Unai Emery's men, up against a Goliath team that have just beaten them. A team that people are saying are capable of winning the league, and Arsenal have done that to them. It was simply sensational. It was a vintage Arsenal performance, up there with the very best this season. In fact, I would go so far as to say that is Arsenal's best performance of the season. There was a shaky 20 minutes, don't get me wrong. There was an unsteady 20 minutes. But that was Arsenal's best performance of the season. Forget what happened against Atletico Madrid. Forget anything. That is the victory that Arsenal needed. That is the moment, and that is potentially the defining moment of the Premier League. That could be it. You know, when you win a league title, you trace it back. You trace back the league title to a particular weekend, to a particular win. And the fact that Arsenal have won today in the way that they have, slapping Aston Villa in the process, moving 5 points clear of Manchester City, to go into the new year 5 points clear of Man City, it's symbolic. To batter Aston Villa in the way that they did. Aston Villa are supposed to be the pretenders to the league title. To batter them in the way that they did, it is symbolic. The first super chat of the day has landed. It is from Howdenby Gaming, who says Arteta slapped Emery. You're absolutely right. Arteta did most definitely slap Emery. It was a massive result, a statement result. It's exactly what they needed. And to be totally frank with you, it is not the result that I expected. Arsenal going 5 points clear and dominating Aston Villa in the way that they did. That second half performance from Arsenal was up there with any performance that you will see this season. Think about some of the moments that happened. Think about the David Raya save towards the end there. Like that David Raya save from John McGinn. Absolutely brilliant. And it sets the tone. It shows you what Arsenal were about. Okay, they conceded after that. But just think about that. Can we talk for a moment? Like, you know, it's all very well to kind of get caught up in the moment and the result. Odegaard's brilliance for the Zubimendi goal. Odegaard's absolute world-class, dazzling, exquisite pass for that through ball to Zubimendi. Like, that tells you. And the biggest thing of the day, Arsenal have won the game without Declan Rice. Like, I have been saying that Declan Rice is arguably the best player in the world in his position. I have been saying that Declan Rice is everything to Arsenal. I've said that he is a gladiator. I have said that without Declan Rice, there could be question marks about Arsenal. Those questions were answered today. I said there were question marks. I'll tell you what, there aren't anymore. I thought that Arsenal would struggle to win without Declan Rice. I thought that Arsenal wouldn't necessarily have that passion to win without Declan Rice. You know, that tenacity, that spirit to win without Declan Rice. Do you know why they had it? Because Gabriel was back. Gabriel is one of the most brilliant players in the world. I'm being totally serious here. You know, when we talk about centre-halves, I feel like we always get caught up discussing the same centre-halves. We always talk about Saliba, and I'm not knocking Saliba, but we always talk about the same centre-halves. Who are the best centre-halves around at the moment? Well, you have to talk about Rudiger, and you have to talk about Van Dijk, and you have to talk about John Stones, and you have to talk about Ruben Diaz, you have to talk about William Saliba. Nobody talks about Gabriel. Gabriel is better than every single one that I've just mentioned. I'm being really serious here. Gabriel is a better centre-half than every other centre-half that I've just mentioned. I don't care. I don't care if it's unfashionable. That is 100% fact. Gabriel in both boxes. Gabriel was a warrior tonight. Gabriel, man of the match by an absolute mile. Scores the opener. Do you know how important it is? Like, listen, don't get me wrong. Trossard scoring the goal that he scored, a good goal. Important goal to a degree. But the big goal, the statement goal, it's Gabriel's goal. You know, Gabriel Jesus, really good goal, really good strike. But that isn't the goal, is it? Like, I am telling you now, the best centre-half in the league is Gabriel. And I think I would go a step further. I am thinking around Europe. I do not believe that there is a better, more important centre-half in Europe than Gabriel. An absolute monster of a player, a dream centre-half. He's exactly what you want. Name it. Who do you believe? Just write the name of the centre-half that you believe is the best centre-half in the league. I want to see who you are going to say. Literally write the name. Gabby is like Ramos. I've just seen a comment there from at BT_. Gabriel is like Sergio Ramos. You cannot give a player bigger praise than that. You cannot talk about the centre-half, bring up Sergio Ramos, and ever go bigger. You cannot say that there is a better centre-half in the world if you're going to compare that centre-half to Ramos. Sergio Ramos was everything that I want from a footballer. A winner, a dog, a king. Would do anything, would go for the jugular and make sure that his team would win at all costs. If you are saying that Gabriel is a modern-day version of Sergio Ramos, you are calling Gabriel the best in the world in his position. And that means you're agreeing with me. Because that is who Gabriel is. He is absolutely perfect. You know, that robust, aggressive, horrible, spirited centre-half. There is nothing quite like it. Charlie Knight in the Super Chat says, Arsenal are the best team in the world and will win the Premier League this season. Come on, Arsenal. 4-1 against Villa, who are title challengers no more. I don't think that we can say that, Charlie. I don't think it's as clinical as that. I don't think it's as cutthroat as that. I think it was always unlikely that Aston Villa were going to win the league. It's still unlikely that Aston Villa are going to win the league. Don't get me wrong, it's still unlikely. But remember, Aston Villa won, 18 out of 20, something like that, off the back of a last defeat. So let's see how they react. This is a damaging defeat to Emery, don't get me wrong. And it is a statement win for Arsenal. Arsenal are undoubtedly favourites. And this result makes them favourites. This result isn't what anybody expected. Me included, by the way. Me included. I was looking at it tonight going, there's a chance here. There's a chance that Arsenal get caught. And Arsenal fans know this. Arsenal fans know I don't want you to win the league. You know that I'm watching that game going, Emery's going to do it. Ollie Watkins' birthday. This is the moment. This is it. Arsenal are going to drop. Arsenal are going to slip. Arsenal are going to bottle it. Declan Rice is out. Nervy 20 minutes of the game. 0-0 at half-time. I'm on the edge of my seat. Nah, shut up, Rory. You don't know what you're talking about. Shut up, Rory. Bang. Shut up, Rory 1. Shut up, Rory 2. Shut up, Rory 3. Shut up, 4. That's how you win league titles. You prove your doubters wrong. That's what you do to win leagues. When people like me look at it and we go, I'll tell you what, there's a slip waiting to happen here. I'll tell you what, there is an opportunity here. I'll tell you what, Arsenal are up against a serious team with a serious manager in serious form with serious players. Nah, mate. No, they're not. We're going to treat them like schoolboys. We are going to treat them like men against boys. We are going to treat these like we would treat the under-15s. And that's what Arsenal did. 1, 2, 3, 4. Jugular. That's what it's about, you know. That's what it's about because the momentum's been with Man City. The momentum's been with Aston Villa. We've seen Arsenal limping. We've seen Arsenal demonstrate moments where perhaps they look vulnerable. And today they have answered that with aplomb. Arsenal winning the league if Gabriel stays fit, says the grass patch. And I tell you what, I don't disagree. I think Arsenal can win the league if he does get injured. I think Arsenal could not win the league if he stays fit, to be fair. I feel like there's so many permutations. But Gabriel fit, Gabriel's the best player in his position. Arsenal's spine, and I tell you what, do you think I'm right here? Spines win you league titles. Spines win you league titles. Why did Chelsea win the league under Mourinho? Cech, Terry, Lampard, Drogba. Why did Arsenal win the league under George Graham? Why? Because of the spine. Why did they win it under Arsene Wenger? Lehmann, Campbell, Vieira, Henry, spine of the team. After that, you can decorate. After that, you can do whatever you want. But what you need to win a title, you need Schmeichel, Jaap Stam, Roy Keane, Andy Cole. That's how you win a league. So now look at Arsenal. If Gabriel stays fit, you go David Raya, best keeper in the league. That save today. The save the other day, by the way. But the save today, oh my God. I mean, do you know what? I was glad Ollie Watkins scored. The part of the reason I'm glad is because I don't want Arsenal to get the 15-goal record, right? I was glad when Ollie Watkins scored, but I felt a little bit sorry for David Raya. The save that he made just before that from John McGinn, my God. Every other keeper's given up on that. You know, when it's hit the post, every other keeper in the league has given up on that. David Raya desperately clawing at that record, desperately trying to secure that record. And then you think about the spine. So David Raya, best keeper in the league. Non-negotiably, right? Don't listen to anybody else. I don't want to hear about Donnarumma. I don't want to... Best keeper in the league, David Raya. That is the least controversial thing you'll ever hear me say. David Raya, best keeper in the league. Gabriel, best centre-half in the league. Declan Rice, best number 8 in the league. We don't need to be hipsters, number 8, number 6. Just talking spines, right? The way that I said spine before. The way that I said the spine will make it Arsenal-related. Jens Lehmann, Sol Campbell, Patrick Vieira, Thierry Henry. Let's do it. David Raya, Gabriel, Declan Rice, perhaps an Achilles heel. But then think about what we've seen tonight. You know, if Arsenal don't have the striker that's going to deliver them the league, and there is a question mark about Yokerers, maybe it doesn't even matter. Maybe it doesn't even matter because they scored 4 goals today, 4 different goal scorers. Fine. If you don't have one geezer who's going to score you 22 a season, it doesn't matter if everyone else is going to give you half a dozen. Do you know what I mean? If you've got 6 players capable of giving you a dozen goals, it almost doesn't matter how many Yokerers scores. How many goals Yokerers going to score? Well, it doesn't matter, does it? Because if Gabriel, Trossard, the centre-back, and Zubamendi are going to chip in, what on earth does it matter? You know, there's goals galore in the Arsenal team. Is there a question mark about Yokerers? Yeah, in my opinion, there is. But ultimately, I don't know if it matters. I'm going back into the Super Chat now. It says that was a 6-point win, says Ars RMCF. Yeah, it was a 6-point win, but I actually think, can I make a weird statement about this? You're calling it a 6-point win. So you're saying that the most important thing that happened tonight was the points. You're talking about the points. Can I go weird here? I don't think it was. I genuinely don't think it was. I think Arsenal made a statement that is far more significant than the points put on the board. I think the statement, the noise that Arsenal have made is so much bigger than everything else. Yeah, don't get me wrong, the points are big. 6 points, 5 points above Man City, big. 5 points above Man City, turn of the year, big. Yeah. But listen to what Arsenal did. Listen to what Arsenal did on a day that was seen as being a potential banana skin game. It was a declaration of intent. It was a 4-1 win against the form side of Europe. It was effectively a clean sheet. A last minute, there was never any jeopardy around the result. So they had that in the bag as well. It was a victory that was secured with 4 different goal scorers. It was a victory that was secured without their best player. It was a victory that was secured against a really serious manager. And I tell you what, they looked immense. Almost, the points are massive, right? The points are massive for Arsenal. Of course they are. But what I'm saying here, the statement that is made with that victory, do you know what it was? I said this moments ago. Any doubter, and I was one, any doubter got told to shut up. Any doubter, anyone that was looking at this game going, I tell you what, I was on TalkSport. I tell you what, Unai Emery, serious manager, already beaten Arteta this season. Arteta now doesn't have Declan Rice. Arteta's going to have to rush Gabriel back from injury. Ollie Watkins on his birthday. Shut up, Rory. And that noise is huge. That declaration is huge. Can I ask you a massive favour while I have your attention? Would you please consider clicking the subscriber button? It really helps me out. If you would consider clicking subscribe, I would be over the moon. We're 70 subscribers away from hitting 374. If anyone is watching and not subscribed, please consider joining this community. Going to be going live loads in the new year, and it really would be an honour to welcome you into the community. I love debating football with you. I love talking football with you. This is the point, and it's only fun when you're here. So if you would consider clicking subscribe, I would be over the moon. It would bring me a happy new year. Thank you so much for that. We're going back into the super chat here, who says, Big from the group home says, I want to personally thank you for picking Villa. What, for my prediction? Yeah, I mean, I certainly, I don't know if I think my prediction was a draw, but look, I certainly wanted Villa to win. You are certain, you can be certain with that one. The Chronic Thigh second says, great win by Arsenal from a Leeds fan. On a side note, Chelsea are a joke. Yeah. We're not a title contender. Dominic Calvert-Lewin better than Pedro. Yeah. Mate, I can barely disagree with you. I can barely disagree. Yeah, Calvert-Lewin's been an amazing signing for you, and João Pedro has been fairly underwhelming. Absolutely correct. The Muay Thai 5728 says, no makeshift back four, not like at Villa Park, eh? Yeah, no, it was a big win for Arsenal. It really, really was a big win, and it's almost irrelevant. It's almost irrelevant about the personnel. The fact that Arsenal could put in a performance like that against the odds as well on some level, you know, when you see that it's Emery coming to the Emirates, who already came to the Emirates fairly recently with Villarreal and what, you know, big result for Arsenal. It's a massive, massive statement victory for Arsenal. It's exactly what they needed. It really is exactly what they needed. As an Arsenal fan, I hate Chelsea, but I love you, Rory. Your compliments to Arsenal week in, week out. Not week in, week out. It's week in when they're good and week out when they're bad. Makes me love you, Rory. You're very kind, though. You speak so professionally as well. You're very kind. I appreciate that. Jack's not God. Very kind of you, sir. But look, I give you credit on a night like today, and I said that the victory against Wolverhampton Wanderers was the first victory that I can think of that was seen, in my opinion, as a bad victory. So I'll give you credit when it's due, and tonight it is most certainly due. You can be most certain of that. A huge, huge victory for Arsenal tonight. Dancent2K says, when Gabriel and Saliba have played 90 minutes together, Arsenal haven't conceded in the Premier League this season. Let that sink in. Yeah, I mean, it's they're two excellent defenders. No doubt about it. It's not even a surprising statistic, to be totally frank. Crucial Robbie says, as the most loyal devotee to the office of Manchester United manager, I'm ashamed to say I'm concerned about the capabilities of Emery. Don't be concerned. I can tell you exactly. He's inept. He's inept and he's not good enough to manage Manchester United. And the sooner Manchester United realise that, the better it will be for every Manchester United fan. You are welcome here, Crucial Robbie. Absolutely welcome. Mio Bert says, do you want to lose against City this weekend? I tell you what, my desperation for Arsenal to not win the league, we need to worry about ourselves. So we're not in a position yet to worry about dropping points to make sure Arsenal don't win the league. We aren't in that position yet. But if we get into that position, like I remember when Tottenham were going to win the league. Our last 2 games of the season, our last 3 games of the season was Tottenham, someone I can't remember, and Leicester City at home. My whole time, we were 10th in the league. I was like, we have to beat Tottenham and we have to lose to Leicester. We must lose to Leicester. So I'm perfectly capable of doing that, but at the moment we need the points for our own ambitions. So no, we have to beat City. We certainly have to get a point against City, but we'll cross that imaginary bridge when it is time. Where are we? We are up to Cave27 says, need to give Arteta credit tonight. Subtle positional changes with Zubimendi moving more left and Odegaard coming more central. No, I think you're right. And do you know what? I think we need to explore this. The tactical tweaks and personnel tweaks from Mikel Arteta tonight, he really earned his managerial stripes for me. You know, I've always thought that Mikel Arteta's a good manager. I've always thought that he's doing a good job. And I've always thought that Arsenal fans who don't seem to be enamoured by Arteta, you know, there does seem to be that huge swathe of Arsenal fans that are ready to jump on Arteta's case, jump on his back. I don't get it. I know that it's kind of a vocal minority. I know that it's not that way in the stadium. I know that it's a YouTube thing, social media thing. But I've never really understood it. But today, I think it was a genuine example of absolute managerial brilliance from Mikel Arteta. An absolutely brilliant performance from Mikel Arteta. Like, it was the way that his team turned an evening of potential unrest, potential upset, major jeopardy going into the game today. The way that you managed to turn that into a glorious Happy New Year carnival party atmosphere. That's managerial brilliance. Goals galore, goals for substitutes, wonder saves from David Raya, easy pickings, laughing, olaying. The Arsenal fans in the stadium having the luxury of singing and mocking Emi Martinez in goal. Just laughing at Emi Martinez. They're not worried about the result. They're not worried about anything. They're doing a conga, man. They're unhappy. They're laughing. They've got the Veuve Clicquot open. They're dancing. Have a cigar in the stadium, man. Happy days. You were so much better than Villa. And Mikel Arteta deserves so much credit for that. The way that performance, without Declan Rice, and up against a manager who in the past has been a major thorn in your side. Like, they were also on, an 11-game winning run? Mate, this is managerial expertise from Mikel Arteta. It is genuine managerial expertise. Think about everything that we've just said there. Like, the odds were against him. The deck was stacked against him. He lost to Emery recently. He's lost to Emery a lot over the years. Emery's coming back to Arsenal with a point to prove. He's without Declan Rice. He's rushing the centre-half back from injury. I tell you what, they're up against the form team of Europe. It's Ollie Watkins' birthday. You know, when I saw that, I was like, that geezer's scoring. And he did, to be fair to him. But it really was a massive result. Like, to thrash Aston Villa, it's about the statement that is made. And everybody that has been doubting this Arsenal team, they've really got to wake up to that. Like, it was about perfect. And then the nature of the victory. 20 dodgy minutes, and then the performance of the season. 4 different goal scorers. Very nearly a clean sheet. No captain. Zubimendi linking up brilliantly with Odegaard. Like, you know, if you were to say, hypothetically, Declan Rice doesn't play, you're like, Villa will beat them. And then you're like, Odegaard in, tactical tweaks from Mikel Arteta, tactical positional changes from Mikel Arteta, you know, amending the personnel perfectly, amending the system perfectly, amending the tactics perfectly. Arsenal fans, tell me, I think this is Mikel Arteta's best performance as manager, considering everything, considering the opposition, considering the manager, considering the form of the opposition, considering no Declan Rice, considering the form that Villa are in, considering what Unai Emery has done to him before. I don't believe that there is a better Mikel Arteta managerial performance than that one. I thought it was that good. I really did believe that it was that good. I'm going to go back into the Super Chat now before I check your comments on that. And just to sum that one up, Cafe 27, I completely agree with you. They were world class. They destroyed Villa in that second half. You are absolutely right. CKE 91 said, thank you for your prediction with Turkish. Did I say Villa win? Yeah, mate, I thought it could happen. I'm not even ashamed. This is why it's such a big result for Emery. Because it gives people like me a slap in the face. Bosh. That's what it does. And it's well deserved. Anybody that was looking at this, thinking that it could potentially go wrong for Emery, for Arteta, that's why I'm talking about the statement. Like, earlier when I was talking about why this result it's so much bigger than simply 3 points. It's the statement. I'm just seeing that a lot of you are saying that the Real Madrid performance is better. But look, can I ask you? I don't think it is. I'm going to push back here. This is why I love this channel. This is why I love the debate. This is why I love your opinions. Thank you so much for commenting. This is why I just love chatting football with you. Please do me a favour. Will you please click subscribe if you aren't subscribed already? We are 19 subscribers away from hitting a milestone, which is 374. If 19 of you are watching and not subscribed, please consider dropping a subscribe. Really helps me out, man. Thank you so much. The Real Madrid performance might be better. The Real Madrid magnificence, Champions League quarter-final, the Bernabeu, yeah. But it wasn't a managerial win. It was a team win. Like, you know what I think today was? Today was an example of Mikel Arteta beating Unai Emery. That's what today was. And that is massive for Arsenal fans. Because I've been saying that Unai Emery is a better man, and I still believe that. But it takes time, and the sorcerer becomes the apprentice. Do you know, the apprentice becomes a sorcerer. Like, you have to kind of get one over on your nemesis. Somebody that's been there, done it. Somebody that's won multiple European trophies, retained European trophies, won top leagues in Europe. Like, Unai Emery is a serious man with a serious track record and serious managerial acumen. And Aston Villa are a serious team. This win, the Real Madrid win in the Bernabeu, Saka dinking the keeper in the Bernabeu, having missed a penalty and still dinks the keeper. It's an amazing win. It's a historic win. It's a win that will live longer in the memory than this win. But it isn't a bigger win for Arteta. I don't believe it is. I think tonight belongs to Arteta more. Real Madrid are all over the place, man. Ancelotti is a glorious man who I adore, but Ancelotti isn't a fastidious manager in the way that Unai Emery is. It's more symbolic that Arteta has got one over on Arteta. Arteta has got one over on Emery. I truly, truly believe that. It really was. It really was. Really was big. I'm going to go back into the super chat now. There's one here from Sir Forby that says, tough one from a Villa perspective. Arsenal played well. Think Marino should have been off the pitch, but that's how it goes in the Prem. 3 points between us both. Manchester United and Chelsea dropping points too. Can't complain too much. Listen, Sir Forby, you're clearly an Aston Villa fan here. You should be overjoyed with what you've seen this season. Overjoyed. I think that you will win silverware this season. I think that you will make it into the Champions League spots this season. And I still believe that you're capable of winning the league this season. Unai Emery is a great manager who will lose tonight, regroup, and let's see if Aston Villa can use this defeat as a springboard to move into the season. In the way that the last time they lost after that dodgy start, they went on one of the most ridiculous runs that we've seen. You know, a dodgy defeat can often be the start of something. So I don't think you should have your head down at all. It's been a great season, but today you were well and truly beaten because Mikel Arteta, in my opinion, got it so right. That's an incredibly generous super chat as well, Sir Fordy. Thank you so much. Happy New Year to you. And Happy New Year to everyone. I'm going to refresh this. Have the subs arrived? Have we made it? We've made it. You're the best. Thank you so much to everyone that's clicked subscribe. And I'm telling you now, going to be going live loads over the new year. The second that we're into the new year, going to be going live loads. So do click subscribe. Make sure that you put the bell on. I love these nights. I love chatting football with you. Brody King says, we have to win against Liverpool, then we'll focus on Man City, then the league. Yeah, I think that's exactly what has to happen. I think it does become a game-by-game situation, doesn't it? It becomes simply game by game. You know, take it that easy. Like, Arsenal need to do exactly the same. You know, Arsenal are playing Bournemouth next. They then play Liverpool. It's not easy fixtures. It's not easy to win a league title. But Arsenal were doing what you should do. You know, sometimes to win a league title. And in the past, we felt like maybe Mikel Arteta is a little bit defensive. I used the word cowardly, and maybe that was harsh. But sometimes I think with a title, what you have to do to win a league title is you have to go and you claim it. You go and you make it yours. You seize it. You bully your way to it. You are robust. You are relentless, and you make it your own. Do you know what you do? How you do that? You beat the form team in Europe. You batter them. You have 4 different goal scorers against them. You don't have your best player on the pitch. You have your fans laughing at their goalkeeper for, 30 minutes of the game? That's how you do it. That's how you go and you claim a title. And that is what Arsenal were doing. It really was a massive, massive win. And Arsenal fans, man, this is basically dream come true territory for you. AJ Official says, we want the league title. Stop jinxing us, Rory. Do you know what, mate? I wish that my words had the power that you believe they have. I can't jinx anyone. I wish I could. If I could jinx anyone, I'll go like this. I don't think Chelsea will win the league. Or I do think Chelsea... You know, that's what I would do if my words carried power. Arsenal are, now, the best team in the country. They have the best first 11 in the country. They have the best squad in the country. That's a fact. That is a fact. They have persevered with Arteta when the easier option would have been to sack him, and they could be about to reap those rewards. You say that you want the league title, make your favourites for it. You're 5 points clear of City at the turn of the year. You would have taken that before the ball was kicked, wouldn't you, this season? 5 points clear at the top of the league, coasting in Europe. Mate, you're living the dream. You're in the semi-final of the League Cup, where you're going to get battered, by the way. Is that more jinxing? Am I jinxing you again? Mate, Happy New Year. Thank you for your super chat. The Arse RMCF says, the statement was what made it 6 points to me. Yeah, I see your point. Sir. This is an interesting one, right? To just fill anybody in. I've been having a back and forth here with Arse RMCF. I'm saying that, yeah, of course the points are massive, right? He called it a 6-pointer. Taking 3 points off Villa is big. Adding 3 points to your own tally is big. Combining that, 3 points off them, 3 points on you, 6 point swing, it's big. And I'm saying, yeah, it's big. But in my opinion, the biggest thing that happened today wasn't the points. The biggest thing that happened today was me having to recalibrate Arsenal. I didn't think Arsenal could pull a result like that out of the bag. I'll be totally frank with you. I didn't think Arsenal were capable of pulling a result like that out of the bag. I didn't think they could slap 4 past Villa. I didn't think they could dominate Aston Villa in the way that they did in that second half. I didn't think that they could win a game scoring 4 goals with 4 different goal scorers without Declan Rice on the pitch. I didn't think that they could have a situation where they have 2 forwards. 2 of their forwards both score a goal each. You know? I didn't think they could do that. Like, I was talking about Victor Yokerers, and I don't think he's very good. Don't think he's good enough to play for Arsenal. Maybe it doesn't matter. If you can have 4 different goal scorers, you've got Trossard on the score sheet, Gabriel Jesus on the score sheet. How many centre forwards do you want on the score sheet? How many forward players, should I say, do you want on the score sheet? So look, I think there is a world where the statement is bigger than the points. But look, you and I are kind of agreeing and disagreeing with the same thing, aren't we? You're saying it's massive because you got the points. I'm saying it's massive because you got the points, but also because of the noise you made. So yeah, we're in the same boat really. But I'm more shocked. Arsenal didn't shock me getting the 3 points. I don't think it's shocking. It's the manner that they got the 3 points that has shocked me. And I think that sent reverberations around the league. It sent reverberations. I'm in a WhatsApp group with a lot of TalkSport people, and just people who do my industry, right? Both YouTube, Sky, wherever. Lots of people thought Arsenal would win the game. 1-0, 2-1, nick it 1-0, nick it 1-0, late 1-0, Gabriel header 1-0, 88th minute. No one thought this. And that is why I'm saying that the statement, it's a statement that wins you the league, man. It's a statement that wins you the league. Do you know what? Oh, my God. I remember going to Fratton Park, right? I remember going to Fratton Park on a Wednesday night, pouring with rain. And we'd drawn a week before. It wasn't going well. Man United were brilliant. Do you know what we did? This would have been, 2009 maybe, going 9 into 10. We went to Fratton Park and we won 5-0. Drogba scored, Anelka scored. It was just like, we just battered them. We battered them 5-0. We went to Fratton Park. Portsmouth were a good team then. Went to Fratton Park, battered them 5-0. Never looked back, won the league. Never looked back. Won the double, in fact. Sometimes those big results, they just send you on your way. They kind of open the door. They secure the belief, and they get everyone singing on the same hymn sheet. And that's what tonight did. Like, look, I don't like that song, that North London Forever thing that Arsenal have got. But I'm not meant to like it, am I? I'm a Chelsea fan. I'm not meant to like it. Why am I meant to like it? Me disliking it means that it's doing its job. But my God, that was sung passionately. That was sung so loudly, wasn't it? Like, at the end of the game there, Arsenal fans were giving it. And that's what it needs to be. And that can be part of the statement that's made. Rajat in the Super Chat says, Gabby makes Brazil a serious contender next year at the World Cup. This is the comeback that we needed. This is the goal that Gabriel Jesus needed. This is the revenge that the fans needed. It's a good Super Chat. It's a very, very good Super Chat. You can't argue with all of the points that were made there. You just can't argue with all the points that were made there. The fans needed that. The fans needed a tonic. Off the back of like limping to a victory against Wolverhampton Wanderers and whatever else. The fans needed that. And I've just mentioned it before reading that Super Chat. I've just mentioned that the fans needed something. And having lost against Emi Martinez, I've got a lot of Arsenal fans in my life. They hate Emi Martinez. If you're not an Arsenal fan watching this, let me tell you this. I don't think there is a man in football currently playing. I'm not talking about Ashley Cole or Emmanuel Adebayor. I'm talking about currently playing. I don't think there is a man currently playing who Arsenal fans hate more and is less welcome at the Emirates than Emi Martinez. They hate him. Trust me, I've got family members who hate him. They constantly talk about him, constantly give it, so they've given him grief. They've given Aston Villa one. They've given Emi Martinez a bloody nose, laughing at him for 30 minutes. Singing about him being a useless keeper, singing about David Raya being so much better than him and all that. 30 minutes they could give it to him. What a joy. They've then given Unai Emery a bloody nose. Something that they need to do. Emery's got the better of them over recent times. Going back there and winning with Villarreal wasn't a good one. Stopping Arsenal winning the League 23 wasn't a good one. So they've given Emery a bloody nose. Revenge for the fans. Absolutely. It's a really good Super Chat. You are so spot on there. He makes Brazil and Brazil with Gabriel, no doubt. But the comeback, it's the comeback you needed. It's the goal that Gabriel Jesus needed. And it's the revenge that the fans needed. You are bang on. Notice Emery didn't shake Arteta's hand. I didn't notice that. I don't care. I don't get too precious about things like that. Football is a noble sport. You should shake hands. In the heat of the moment, I imagine, I don't know this, but I imagine that they're having a glass of Rioja together right now. I imagine that. I've read Jose Mourinho's book. Jose Mourinho was horrible on the touchline, but in his book, he would always have a Portuguese bottle of wine for the opposing manager. And it didn't matter who the manager was. He would go and he would drink the wine with Sam Allardyce when he'd been fuming with him. He would go and he would drink the wine with Sir Alex Ferguson when he nicked a title off him. I imagine, I don't know this, sadly I've never met Mikel Arteta or Unai Emery, but my prediction is that in the heat of the moment, you don't shake hands, you just get away, the cameras are there, you're fuming, you want to talk to your team, you're still at work, right? The game ends for the ref blows a whistle on the game, but your night isn't over as a manager. You've got team talk to do, you've got dressing down to do, especially if you've been beat. I imagine right now, 10 to 11, right now, they're sharing a beautiful bottle of Spanish red wine. That's my prediction. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But I haven't seen the footage, so I'll have to have a look. I love how you praise Arsenal when we do good and criticise them when we do bad. Much love from Australia. Happy New Year, Kyle Hayward. That's a very, very kind message. I mean, that's kind of what I do with every team. Praise them when they're good and laugh at them when they're bad. That's kind of what happens in football, isn't it? That's the beauty of the game. That is exactly what we all do to one another. That is the joy. That is simply the joy of football. But Happy New Year to you, Kyle. Reece Powell says, honestly, super happy with the win and performance. I've seen us in this situation before and bottle it, so still being very pessimistic. This feels different, Reece. It feels different. It feels painfully, painfully different. And I don't necessarily think that it's going to end the way that you're expecting it to end. But yeah, I think that I think that you are a very good team, and I don't necessarily think it's going to end the usual way. But we will have to see. This is the kind of result that would suggest that it is not the way. That it's not going to go the way that you think there. Cynthia 2000 says, Rory, City already have this title in the bag. Cynthia, Arsenal are 5 points clear of City. We're at the turn of the year, and Arsenal have a 5-point cushion over City. So no, I don't think that they do have it in the bag already. Away End TV says, does Jesus now deserve to start? What a goal. Yeah, it was a beautiful goal. I think he probably deserves to start anyway, to be honest. I think the reason he doesn't start is injuries. He's a better player than Yokerers, isn't he? He's 10 times a player of Yokerers, in fact. So yeah, I think he does. Away in TV, I think he does. Jack's Not God says, I want us to win the league, but Yokerers is holding us back. Question, Rory, if you was Arteta, who would you start every week? Not Yokerers. Not Yokerers. I don't think he's the guy. He just doesn't strike me as an Arsenal centre-forward. You know, I think there's a place for Yokerers at Arsenal, but not as a starter. Like, you know what he is? He's a battering ram, isn't he? He's the kind of centre-forward that's ugly and horrible to play against, and there's a place for that in football. There's a place for that at Arsenal, scoring ugly goals. You know, the kind of goal that he scored against Atletico Madrid, when he, tackled the ball into the net. There's a place for that. But if Arsenal were to be at their free-flowing best, I think you need Gabriel Jesus on form. That's who I believe is your most likely goal outlet. That's what I think the answer would be. If I was picking the team, but lucky for you, I'm not. You've got a very good manager in Arteta. But if I was picking the team, I think it would be Gabriel Jesus. Cynthia says, what has Arsenal achieved to warrant this glaze? The South haven't seen a title in a decade. Let's highlight that. The South? I don't think anyone in the South... I mean, am I in the South? I'm in London. I don't think anyone in the South prides themselves on being Southern. I don't think there's a... Maybe Portsmouth fans. Southampton fans. We're Londoners. And London had a title when? 2017? So not quite a decade ago. We've had a European Cup since then, though, remember? But I'm a proud Londoner, but I've never, ever identified as being from the South. So, yeah, there's no North-South thing. Certainly not that I can take hold of anyway. And what have Arsenal done to achieve this compliment is what glaze means, isn't it? Why are Arsenal being complimented this way? Well, I mean, they've just beaten the form team of Europe 4-1. 4 different goal scorers without their best player. Where do we start? I mean, it's fairly self-explanatory. Cynthia, RMSCF says, so do you think Arsenal can get 2 trophies? Nah, mate. You get 1. You will annoyingly get 1. But no, look, you've never won a European Cup. Winning a European Cup and a league title is really tough. Like, mental tough. So I don't think you're going to do both, considering that you've never done one of them before, and you've never done one of them, and you haven't done one of them for 23 years. So no, I don't think you're going to do both. But painfully, I think you're going to do 1. And 1 is enough. Let's not be greedy. 1 would be amazing. 1 would be amazing. ABLR says, I think the League Cup is so important for this group at Arsenal. For this group's mentality, that winning silverware is no longer theoretical. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I didn't agree with you if we were having this conversation before the League Cup started. Before the League Cup started, I would have said that Arsenal should go out of it. They've got bigger things to worry about. Don't worry about it. But now they're in the semi-final, they have to win it. Yeah, I agree. Now they're in the semi-final, they have to win it. And it would be massive. You know, Jose Mourinho always spoke about how beautiful it was to win silverware, didn't he? Win silverware in February, add to it in May. Yokerers makes space for others. You can't do that. Nico, you can't do that. Do you know why you can't do it? I've done this before. And trust me, it's so hollow. You know when you're talking about a centre-forward and you start talking about things that aren't goal scorer? Like, do you know what I've heard Chelsea fans do? Fernando Torres was a flop for Chelsea. Let's be totally honest, right? We can paint it in a way that we want. We can talk about what he did. We talk about the goal at Barcelona. We can talk about the goal in Amsterdam, winning us European silverware. We can talk about that. But let's be honest, he was a flop. You know how you know he was a flop? Because when Chelsea fans talk about him, do you know what we say? We go, he won the corner for Drogba's header in Munich. Like, mate, as soon as you're talking about a striker doing things that isn't what he should be doing. You're talking to me about Yokerers making space for others. What you're effectively telling me is Yokerers isn't scoring. And then that is the prime point of the signing of Victor Yokerers. You signed the most lethal goal scorer in Europe. You know, the point of that was to score goals. No doubt about it. Now, listen, I need a favour from you. A huge favour. A huge New Year favour. Will you please click subscribe? Really helps me out. Would be my honour to welcome you into this community. It really helps. Go on, click subscribe. Let's see if you would make me very happy as we nearly enter a new year. Thank you so much for watching. Terrible day if you've watched Arsenal through the lens of hoping that they will be defeated, but a phenomenal day for Arsenal Football Club. Sickening. Ta-da.